Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so now moving to the final open item on the agenda, open agenda, Development Christchurch Quarter 1 2019-20 Performance Report. So Rob and Fiona, welcome to the table. Good to see you both. Happy New Year.
Yep, Happy New Year. And thanks for having us. So we've got the report as usual in two parts. This was completed for the end of last year where we were meant to present it, but it got busy for you towards the end of last year, so some of it's a bit out of date, which I can update on other aspects of it. Just by way of just quick review, so for those I've not met properly, Rob Hall, Chief Executive of DCL, and Fiona Mills is the Deputy Chair of our board. We have been operational now for 3.5 years, a subsidiary of CCHL. Key roles working with private sector to develop land, facilitating investment and managing some urban regeneration works, particularly focused in New Brighton, providing commercial advisory services to council is part of our role. Once Milton Street transfer has completed, will be worth circa 17 million in assets, plus hold 54% ownership of the Christchurch Adventure Park through Port Hills Leisure Limited, which makes the subsidiary company of DCL under the Local Government Act, but noting it's still 46% privately owned. So just by way of update, we're finalising our draft statement of intent in response to the letter of expectations that we received from CCHL via input from yourselves. We've also completed a draft submission for the LTP for submission and consideration. New Brighton, Te Puna Tai Moana is progressing well. It's on time, it's under budget. Work has been completed in the over the next 4 weeks, which is predominantly focused on the external landscaping, fencing, final paving works. The last bit of work on the boardwalk immediately in front of the pool, where the sand dune recreation and planting has now been completed. Fit out of cafe and buildings, so painting, furniture installation, etc. Ready for practical completion and handover to your staff in 4 weeks' time. Marine Parade Streetscape Works, which is a council-led project which has been done in conjunction, is well underway and progressing. If you're out there at the moment along that part of Marine Parade, there's a good 80-90 people in high-vis jackets working in New Brighton along Marine Parade. The works there are looking really, really good, tying all of that area in really nicely to complement the playground, the basketball court on the other side, the pier, as it starts to move back into the mall area. We're also investigating use of the digital projector we have for that period of the opening out in New Brighton to make it a bit more of an event. The other area of our work, so the Christchurch Adventure Park, we're just kind of coming out of that Christmas period with the schools going back this week. So trading went well over Christmas. Like all these things, you always want them to do better. Some new facilities have recently opened out there, so the walking trail, which is providing that more accessibility and public access to the space in the Port Hills. Zipline 4, the longest in Australasia, is operating now fully. And some new cycleways opened just prior to Christmas. The cafe has been reconfigured, new offerings, more healthy, trying to tie it into a new brand and direction for the park around wellbeing and encouraging people to the outdoors. The other key focus for us at the moment, which is taking up a bit of our time, is some of the commercial advisory work we do for you and your staff, particularly looking at a proposal with respect to the Takara Avon River Corridor, civic building, smart cities business case, and providing some ongoing work to the Greater Christchurch strategic framework that is underway. And maybe if I just leave it there and ask if there's any questions, and the rest we can pick up in the PX session.
Great, thank you very much indeed. Are there any questions on what's in front of us here for Rob or Fiona? Sarah.
Thank you. Just a quick question on the hot poles. So when you talk about practical completion in about a month, handing over to council staff, so it's going to be a council-led opening rather than a DCL one, is that right?
That's correct.
Cool. So I'll talk to them then. Excellent.
Yep. And there's a proposed date that is yet to be finalised for that.
Yeah, it needs to be because it was it was a project kind of sold to us as a metropolitan one, while it's in a local community, and the community board were very clear at the time that it was going to be a metropolitan asset,
Yep.
which is why they were, so it needs to be coordinated with everyone's diaries and stuff.
Yeah, we're working very closely with council staff on that, but like I say, there is a date that is proposed waiting to be finalised. Yep.
Thank you. Aaron?
Mine's just on the Christchurch Adventure Park because it is a real asset, although underperforming. The zip line, how is it that we've got the longest zip line in the country but it's not necessarily the busiest? Is this the great conundrum for Christchurch, that you can have the best but the numbers just aren't turning up?
Yeah,
Because we're about to open the best convention centre and a few other bests.
Yep.
And so it's it's that big question.
Yeah, so the zip line is going to be likely to be reconfigured in a way to be able to spit more people through it more quickly, and that's going to be done to particularly focus around cruise ship industry. So they'll come in groups, and as that starts building to make it an attraction for those types of visitors, but as the numbers in terms of revenue generated from the zip line is healthy as a product, and but yep, you always want more people. But we do need to, the park need to make some adjustments to the configuration to make it more efficient.
Okay, because it wouldn't seem that it's a log jam of people waiting to go on it. By reading the report, it looks like the other way around. The staff are waiting for people to go on it. And so that's my concern, is just the sheer numbers. Like when we talk to people outside of Christchurch, you say, what are the top 10 things you want to do when you go to Christchurch? Can we get to 10? And does the zip line get included?
Yep, look, the park has gone through a rebranding exercise. They are going to be... there are some other things that are yet to change to improve that offering and market it better.
And they'll see that pretty soon?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Yanni?
Thank you. I know you probably won't want to give the secret away around the opening date exactly, but can we get a sense of which month it's likely to be in? Right, okay. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to have it confirmed. And I think Sarah's point's right, because our diaries are getting really full, so... Yeah. So I just wanted to check on the adventure park in terms of, like one of the things that sold us to initially was the idea that it was a place for everyone, rather than just people that could, had a lot of money to spare. So I just wondered if you could just talk through, with the new change in ownership, what's being done to encourage children, I guess, or schools, or people that may not otherwise get the opportunity to experience it, to come in and have a look, have a go.
Yeah, I guess the first thing is we've got to remember it's a business, and it needs to stand on its own 2 feet as a business and operate that way. So that's which means that you're always going to be charging for use. But the facility itself is accessible by anybody for free. The walking trails are free. You can cycle the tracks for free. You're paying for the hire of equipment or use of the lift. There has been a great level of engagement with schools and clubs, and also some of the women's groups, to encourage more cycling. It is a niche specialist downhill mountain bike facility, as opposed to the Rotorua mountain bike park. So it is there is a difference there. But the engagement with schools and the school programs over the school holidays were well attended, as I understand.
So is there any consideration of pricing reduction based on demographic, or based on different...
That would be up to the board of CAP. There's not been a discussion, I'm aware, to date, to do it around demographics of where people live.
And any consideration, I think previously one idea has been suggested, is that, for every with the ratepayer notice, maybe people get, a chance to come one pass a year or something.
I think the first year post, so I guess if you look at the phases of the park, so we had the really successful opening. It was going really, really well for 3 months. We had the devastating Port Hills fires. We went through a recovery process. The park closed for a year. It had to be re-established from scratch, including a new customer base. And then we had the reset of about last May with the ownership structure changed. And we've really set ourselves a target for the first 12 months to get it as a self-sustainable business, to ensure that there was no call on additional funds required for the business, and that's the phase we're still in. At our next quarterly update, we're going to be bringing a comprehensive report back on the operation of the park back to you, as a way of showing what's happened with your investment to date in that asset.
Thank you. Any further questions? So we have a resolution to note the performance report. Do I have a mover for that? Sarah? And seconded Sam. Any discussion? All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? That's carried.